Hi, I'm Megan, and I am the founder of Bodywise Consulting and Coaching. So I help people do body-mind integrated therapy. And what that means is I help them use their body to shift their mindset, and it shifts their nervous system. And the result of that is that they come into what I would say is like authentic alignment with the core truth of who they are. And that feels pretty amazing because then it's like you're in a space of being versus doing your life. There's a way in which you feel solid and trusting yourself and trusting your instincts. So there's clarity and you show up for yourself and your relationships improve with others and you're more creative and clear and engaged. And it's a way of just like living your life versus this place where we all get to, we're kind of frenetically just surviving and getting by. My approach is what I call Bodywise. And it really is using the body and the wisdom of the body to heal yourself. The Bodywise approach is a really beautiful mix of art and science. And the science part of that is that you're using your body. Your nervous system lives, most of it, 80-90% in your body. And yet we're trying to fix our minds all of the time to address anxiety, right? The sense of overwhelm and depression. And we can't do that with your mind alone. If we can use the body, which shifts then the nervous system, that's how we get the mind to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not out here alone trying to figure it out. So the techniques that I use in how you align your body and the body language of telling yourself that I am present, that I am strong, that I am connected, that settles your nervous system in itself. The other practices are these somatic body-based techniques that are scientifically proven to down-regulate your nervous system into a state where you feel safe and present and calm. And that's why you're having this experience of being like, yeah, I feel so much stronger. I feel much more energy. I can show up because you're not in this hypervigilant state anymore. This is a way in which you can shift your nervous system into a space of feeling safe, of moving past trauma that your body has literally held on to, so that you can come into a space of living and being in the moment now without feeling like you're weighed down and holding on to all the things that have happened in your past. When I work with somebody one-on-one, it really is a partnership. And we always start with what I call the be me framework. So it's like, what's it like to be me is based on how are you showing up in your life in these realms of what's my body like? What's my emotional state like? What's my mental state like? And what's my essence or sense of connectedness to myself? And that's a framework we come back to over and over and over again. And that's really understanding that how you are in any of those realms is based on the state of your nervous system. So when people see that and they come to an understanding of that, they're like, oh, that's why I feel like that. And there's really this kind of yummy moment of being, I'm not anxious, I'm just feeling that way because I'm in this state. Oh, I can be in this state and I can change that. So it's very empowering and it's very hopeful. So from there, once we have that, the next piece is to work them into and teach them about authentic alignment. So this place of where we have them stand and look at their body and have them understand like, oh my gosh, I'm so on my toes. I'm like literally ahead of myself. So how do we start to practice this way of embodying being in alignment with yourself, staying connected to yourself, being present with yourself? And that starts shifting the story. And usually within a week, people come back, they're like, oh my gosh, people are talking to me differently because I'm actually here and I'm available. So from there, I start to weave in these different practices called Thrive versus Survive. And these are scientifically based nervous system down regulators that are very simple body-based techniques that they can shift their nervous system into a state where like, I actually feel better. The next piece we weave in is called breaking barriers. And now those are exercises. And when I say exercises, there's some strengthening pieces, there's some flexibility pieces, but when you think about things like flexibility, you need flexibility in your body to be flexible in your life. right? There is an innate integration of those things. So when you're understanding that, like, I'm flexible in my body, I'm flexible in my life, I'm strong in my body, I'm strong in standing up for who I am, I feel open, that's like I'm available and present. So that's kind of the beginning pieces. And once that starts to really marinate and people are like, I feel more resourced, I feel more present, I'm way more clear, I have more energy, I show up, my digestion's better, my sleep is better. So all these things start happening. But we know that there might be a trauma history. And so that's when I lean into doing this trauma release, intention release work. And it's a beautiful process and a very powerful process, but so important that we have, again, that relationship and container first. And the TRE is a process in which it's a reflex. So like all animals do this thing where they like shake like that. So I coach people into inducing that reflex. So their body shakes and it starts to literally like shake things off. And I would equate it to, if you let this water out of a stream, then you see where the boulders lie. So in a way that we've already got this container of safety, and you start to see like, oh my gosh, I feel this like pit in my stomach, or I feel nauseous, or I feel this weight on my heart. Like there's a way in which we get to explore that and to let that show up and be like, oh my gosh, I felt like that when I was 5. And so then we get to unwind that and let that show up in a way that we're not having to even really talk about it so much, but recognize that that's where your body held that experience. And it literally gets shifted and shaken off. You understand the belief systems that were laid in there. And it just comes into this place of feeling like so much safer and more understanding and compassionate for yourself. People pursue working with me for a lot of different reasons. Maybe they're recognizing patterns in their life that they're like, I want to act different but I just can't help myself. So I feel stuck. Or I just want to be a more connected and authentic leader. Or I'm having a lot of anxiety, depression, panic. People pursue me for deep trauma work, like capital T trauma work, rape, war, to childhood trauma. And for all of these reasons, so many of us live our lives and we just kind of put up with these things over and over because we just think like, I'm just dealing with what I have. And that is literally a survival strategy. But we don't have to do that. We all have the power within us. And when we really like root into all of our power that we have within us by aligning the gut, heart, and head, by using the body to shift the nervous system, to shift the mindset, to come into the wholeness of your being, that's what this work is about, right? Being bodywise. So it can help with any of these things if you're having that. You don't have to put up with it. And it feels like a gift to me to be able to share this work and to have people like really come home into their own empowerment and being like, I can change that. I can live the life I want. I don't have to feel this way anymore. I wholeheartedly hold the belief that people as human beings, we have this innate ability to heal. And that comes from this place of when we feel hurt or when we feel wounded or when we feel anxious, that's because we're kind of off kilter with what's just the is of the world, the rightness of the world. And I believe that we all have this spark and this draw within us to be able to come back into aligning with what's true and good and right for us. And that's where health is. That's where well-being is. Well-being comes from actually being well, understanding how we create safety in our beings. So I think we all have that power. We all have that need. And I think a bigger picture of that even is that's how we make the world a better place. The more people that come into a sense of feeling like, I believe in who I am. I feel safe in being who I am. And then I can have compassion for others. And that becomes a ripple effect. And then that's how we change the world. That's how we create the change we want to see in the world.